you're so sad? You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup are going to be taking on Pocono Raceway, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us here this evening, and joined in the booth, as always, by Mr. Patrick Byrne. And I tell you what, Bizzle, this is one of those races that has kind of interesting potential here because it's a long show. There's a whole lot going on here and a whole lot of tire management that these drivers are going to have to do here in these crowns at Pocono.
Not only that, this is an actual real-life Silver Crown track, or at least it was in, what was it, 1982? So...
Well, yes, 1981, technically. That was the year of the Van Scoy Diamond Mines 500. At the heart of the first USAC kart split, you ended up with the drivers of the kart series were competing against the drivers of the USAC series. And this was the final USAC race that ran at Pocono. AJ Foyt winning that race that saw, I believe it was a total of 9 cars. It was not a lot, and quite frankly, it was not a great race. They actually filled the field with Silver Crown cars, which was really pretty crazy. Qualifications getting out onto the racetrack here. We'll bring up the graphics so you can see where your favorite is running, and we will pick up Zach Scott Nicky in the number 16. He picked up a win 1 week ago in bottom split. Oh, buddy, high, wide, and handsome off of turn number 4. Turn 3, excuse me. What turn 4? You think I would know that? We've been there enough times to cover this place live.
Yeah, only 3 turns here at the Tricky Triangle. It's even in the slogan, there's only 3 turns.
That is correct. Yeah. We're good at our job, I promise.
It's just a Monday.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see who else we can pick up here. We'll bring up the side-by-side here and bring up Derek Love, who is out on the racetrack as well. Let's see here. Let's show you D-Love from a little bit tighter camera shot. There he is, making his way down the front stretch. Laps will start coming in here pretty quickly. D-Love, he was quick. Now going to be Kenneth Garrell. Quick time, 52.392 seconds. Thomas Lewandowski up to second. Mike Barry third. Good lap for Barry. Brett Elmore, DL Lemon, the top 5. But the big speed is going to come on lap number 2. We'll pick up Kenneth Garrell. He's listed as the number, well, let's see. I'm seeing multiple different things on my my timing and scoring system here. I believe he is car number 9 is what you're going to see here in timing and scoring.
See, but some of the cars, we see their stamp number.
Yes, some of them we will see the stamp number. Like James Watson down here now in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You will see him as the 39. Let's see.
Lewandowski going new quick time.
Yeah, Lewandowski's
52.375.
He's flying 52.374 seconds for Thomas Lewandowski. We're going to reload the graphics package up here because something's screwy going on. Let's also pick up, let's see here, see who's going to be next on the list here. Josh Batista still out on the racetrack. Oh, as is Ben Carswell. Let's take a look here at Ben as he's making his way around the 2.5-mile Tricky Triangle.
So I was thinking maybe we could ask you and some of the audience members for suggestions. We have a track being built up at the local slot car raceway here. It is a triangle meant to represent Pocono, and we're trying to come up with a name for it. Obviously, can't call it Pocono since it's all the way down by Grandview Speedway. A Tricky Triangle is already, that's Pocono. So what kind of names do you think we can come up with this thing?
It's a good question. Oh, buddy, Josh Batista, new quick time, top of the board, 52.199 seconds. What can Ben Carswell do on lap number 2? He will be improving but not moving. Still 6th on the grid at a 52.517. Pretty good lap time there for Ben Carswell. We'll get ready to show you tonight's starting grid. Let's see who we can find out here on the grid first. Let's see. Looks like Zach Evans might be out there on the grid. There he is. Field's starting to get lined up, so let's get ready for tonight's race and show you tonight's starting grid. On the pole with a lap time of 52.199 seconds will be the STP Band Sports number 7 of Josh Batista. Lining up on the outside of row number 1 will be the number 3 of Thomas Lewandowski. Row number 2 will have the Refined Motorsports. Well, he's the number 8, but it's the number 57 on the car. That's going to be Kenneth Garrell. The 39 of James Watson, the Team Watson Racing setups. Refined Motorsports National Racing Network, number 39 of Watson, lining up on the outside of row number 2. He will be the 6th tonight in timing and scoring. Row number 3, the 7-up Hoosier Tire, number 12 of Mike Barry, lining up alongside of the Team Watson Racing setups, number 10 of Ben Carswell. Row 4, Brent Elmore in the 14, lining up alongside the Bitcoin, number 15 of DL Lemon. DL, a guy that we haven't seen a ton of over the last few weeks. We'll see how he is going to show here this evening. The Street Side Customs #1 of Derek Love lining up in the 9th position alongside the Budweiser Drevnovsky Construction #2 of Mitch Drevnovsky. Row 6 will be the Me Fine #13 of Zach Evans alongside the Driven to Save Lives National Racing Network #4 of Brandon Buckberger. Row 7 will have the TWRS Race Day CT #16 of Zach Scott Nicky lining up alongside the Kibu #11 of Laura Gerhardt. Row 8, the Big Evil Designs Napa Auto Parts Rockwell, North Carolina #94 of Jeffrey Stanton. He'll be the 5 on your timing and scoring tower tonight. Lining up alongside the Homestead Coffee Roasters Tales from Rukon #9 of Wes Shire. 18 cars making up your grid here this evening. Cars making their way through, let's see, is this, looks like turn 2 at the Pocono Raceway. Still have a long way to go to get around this place. And I'll tell you what, the, wow, comments are blowing up already here. The fastest lap ever turned here belongs to Juan Pablo Montoya at 223.8 miles an hour for the lap average. Just a tick over 40 seconds.
That's just a touch faster than the ARCA series when they come here.
Yeah, just a touch. Field is off of turn #3. They will be under the control of Josh Batista. Green flag goes in the air. We are underway here at Pocono. 40 big laps of distance. Oh, buddy, big move. Mike Barry down to the inside. They're going to fan out 3-4 wide. First time down towards turn #1. Batista's going to lead them through. Barry still trying to force that move down to the inside. Everybody cleanly through 1 and 2. They're still 2 and 3 wide. Oh my goodness. Top 3 single file. That's Batista, Lewandowski, and Watson. 3 wide through the tunnel turn. Oh, buddy. That's borderline not smart.
You just can't do that. I mean, you can't do that in a car with wings. You can't do it in a car with fenders. These cars got neither, and I guess it works.
Oh, Laura Gerhardt!
A car up and over.
Wow, Laura Gerhardt wildly flips down the front straightaway. Oh my goodness!
Can't park there.
Yeah.
It looks like no caution.
No, it didn't bring out a caution. Gerhardt, everybody was gone. I'm fairly certain that iRacing has played with the sensitivity of when the caution flag comes out, because there are a lot of incidents that would have brought out a caution flag that just aren't anymore.
Well, on the sim, we don't have to worry about driver safety. Don't really have to worry about parts flying all over the racetrack. So
that's exactly it.
Made it through fun. No need to bring out a caution.
Derek Love leading Kenneth Garrell down the front straightaway. Towards the back of the pack, things are still crazy back here. As Thomas Lewandowski sets a new fastest lap of the race. Love having to look inside of Garrell. Slide up to pick that race as it heads off towards turn #2. At some point, these guys are going to have to get in line because those top 3 will break away, and it's about 1.2 seconds right now, Bizzle. These cars punch a big hole in the air, but you need to use it down the front straightaway and not be running 2 and 3 wide.
Yeah, you have to kind of just get in line down these long straights, especially the front stretch and the long pond stretch. The straightaway in between turn 2 and 3 doesn't matter so much, but you still want to get in line and try and get the draft and get the run into the real flat turn as well.
Nietzsche Camargo saying, Doritono. Yes, it's a big old Dorito. Better attention to detail on stream graphics than Flow Sports covering modifieds. Maybe. Allegedly. Josh Batista and Jeff Stanton appreciation post.
Two fantastic drivers in the series.
Sign on with a great Roger Ward call out here. Pocono is the fan fiction crossover of racetracks. Turn 1 is Trenton, turn 2 is Indy, turn 3 is Milwaukee. That is exactly right. Laid out by the great Roger Ward, one of the, all-time greats. Roger Ward and I believe it was Jim Rathman in 1960. Oh my God, one of the best battles the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has ever seen on race day. Take a look for that one as we get ready for the greatest spectacle in racing this weekend. If you have not been following the news or the social medias today, big crash in turn number 1 in practice today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Catherine Legg got into the back. Basically, her left front hit the right rear of Stephen Wilson. Both cars made massive contact with the outside safer barrier. Stephen Wilson was taken to Methodist Hospital for an examination, has a thoracic vertebrae fracture, and he will not be competing in this weekend's Indianapolis 500. Odds are it's probably going to be J.R. Hildebrand that slots into that car, but there are some refresher practice things that would have to take place. But odds are it will not be Graham Rahal getting into that car. Rahal driving a Honda, and the Cusick team being a Chevrolet organization. I don't think that those paths are going to cross easily. So we will see what comes from that story as it develops. But it was a massive hit for both of those cars. I would not be surprised if both tubs are not written off. They say Catherine Legg's might be fixable, but we'll see. Already working lap number 6 of 40 here at the Pocono Raceway. Sidon, thank you for doing the quick fact check on me here. I have too much Indy 500 history in my head. Roger Ward and Jim Rathman in 1960 is correct. Appreciate the comments, everybody, too.
Throughout the rest of the year, there are a lot more races that go on at a lot more racetracks as well.
Yes, I watch a lot of them, but man, when you grow up with, you only had like 6 TV channels, even when you got cable, and all you had was ESPN The Classics for this week, showing, or Indy 500 The Classics on ESPN back in the mid-'80s. Man, you took what you could get. Slide back in the pack here. Mitch Drevnovsky having a look inside of Zach Scott Nicky. That's going to be the battle for the 12th position.
I must be too young to remember the days of television before MTV.
Yeah, MTV came around. I was still young.
On Super Cable.
Yes, MTV on Super Cable. I want my MTV. That was a huge marketing campaign. Let's see here. We'll bring up the side-by-side box here and get you a look at your race leaders. They are all still nose to tail as the battle between Scott Nicky and Drevnovsky continues to rage here towards the back of the pack. And I'll tell you what, Patrick, this sort of has the feeling of an exercise in the top 3 are not going. Oh, and Batista's bouncing it off the wall. What a save!
Almost hits Watson. They all keep it clean.
That car's
in the grass
still
now.
in the grass. Oh, my goodness. Josh Batista very quickly. Well, I thought he was going to head for pit lane. He's going to keep it going down the front straightaway. Oh, my goodness. That was nearly huge. Bring this one up on the instant replay. See what happened to Batista. He just got high off the corner. Wow. What a save by Josh Batista. So now as we'll go back to the live look. Batista running towards the back, and now it's going to be Thomas Lewandowski at the head of the field. I'll tell you what, though, Bizzle, now you potentially have an issue here where Lewandowski and Watson are not going to be able to draft away as much. And we can see Derek Love and Kenneth Gurrell making some time up. Just that little bit of a back off was all that those two guys running now third and fourth needed to start to catch back up.
Yeah, just a little bobble like that, it puts you right back in drafting range. So we could see a 4-car battle here shortly, and frankly, with 4 cars trying to battle at a racetrack this tough, could see a caution come out as well and really shake things up.
The AJ Camargo, some aerodynamic adjustments made on the fly for Batista. Yes.
Unplanned modifications.
Yeah. Oh, man. Good fight back here. Let's pick this one up. This is going to be Drevnovsky, Carswell, and Scott Nicky down the front straightaway as we are now working lap number 11. Yes, your comments are showing up. At least I think so. Yes, we can see your comments there, 90210. I love the interaction. Ran the Rutherford line and turned into Robbie Gordon with a hell of a save. Yes.
Batista still getting sideways, slideways all over the place. That car is a handful right now.
Yeah, that car, I am going to say conservatively, is pretty well jugged. Oh, man, he kissed the wall again down the front straightaway. Pull up the tight shot here on this car because it's been up on the left front, really jacked up on the right front. Wheels not pointing the right direction. He's having a day, a night, a whatever.
Yeah, seeing that car in your rearview mirror is the equivalent of seeing like a late 90s Japanese car with half the fender missing, the door punched all the way in, tailgating you on the highway and going, I don't like the look of this.
"90210" saying, I don't understand why the FIA didn't just change the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix from an F1 race weekend to a jet sprint weekend. Yeah, they got some water.
That sounds like it's got Cletus McFarland's name all over it.
Yes, it does. So Mike Barry was all over the front of the field. Now he's starting to fall back a little bit here. He's back to the 8th position, and Drevnovsky going to have the look to the inside. Scott Nicky and Carswell go with Barry on the outside of the racetrack. Well, Barry going to have to run that outside line. Scott Nicky slides up a little bit. Carswell going to tuck up right with him. Nobody giving any help to Mitch Drevnovsky right now. He may not need it, though, through turn 3. That's the challenge of this place, Patrick, is you really do compromise the car setup. Whether it's you're going to get turn 1 right and try to carry a lot of speed. You're going to try to get turn 3 right and try to maintain momentum down the front straightaway. As they're 3 wide, heading for turn number 1, Carswell backs out. Barry shuffled out to the high side. But you, like I was saying, you really do have to make some pretty massive compromises in terms of setup.
Yeah, I always set the car up to get through turn 2 really nicely. Turn 2 is a fantastic passing opportunity. We joke about that you can't go 2 and 3 wide there, but you absolutely can really just dive it in, even pull it down to the apron a little bit and make massive moves. Turn 1 is really easy, high banked. You're going to get through it just fine. And turn 3, everyone's going slow through there anyway. So turn 2 is really where I like to capitalize on.
Good battle for second here between Derek Love and Kenneth Gurrell. Gurrell able to make that pass as Batista again smacks the wall. Again, 3 wide to turn number 1. Carswell this time on the inside. Oh, man. With how shifty these race cars are, that is gutsy to go 3 wide all the way through turn 1.
You can do it though, and this series has some of the top talents in iRacing. Not necessarily.
Oh,
the pro guys,
Carswell's
but-
in the
man,
wall.
car in the wall.
Ben Carswell hard into the outside safer barrier. Almost getting into Zach Evans as well.
Zach Evans still running side by side, getting a little bit loose in turn 3. But yeah, as I was just saying before they decided to wad everything up, these are some of the best drives on the service. They're not the NASCAR Pro Series guys, but that's not because they can't. It's because they don't want to. They enjoy driving these cars and driving them to their absolute fullest.
Yeah, it's a kind of a totally different world. It's not like the Formula cars that are high downforce, crazy speed, and all that kind of stuff. It's not the stock car world either. There is a sort of a niche of driver on iRacing that enjoys running things like the Tour Mods, the Sprint car, the Silver Crown car, some of the things that are a little bit more driver sensitive. I would even include the Lotus 49 and the Lotus 79 in that as well. Laura Gerhardt runs the Crowns here on Mondays. She runs the Sprint cars, and then she also runs the Lotus 49 in some of the European time slots. So yeah, it really serves to your point that these drivers are all around good at what they do here on this platform.
Yeah, the Lotus 49 guys, those guys are something else. I was joking around with Mitch Clarence this morning. He's on his around the world bicycle trip, and I told him to get a Steam Deck so he can play iRacing on the go there with the gamepad and the controller. But yeah, a bunch of the other drivers are bantering, going, I don't want him to kick our ass on a controller. He's good enough on a wheel already.
Yeah, really. Sign-On says, I've heard good things about the Lotus. There are incredible things to be said about the Lotus. Oh, man, great battle again here as Derek Love looking inside of Gurrell for third. And these guys are falling back from the race leaders. The gap now about 1.6 seconds. The more they battle, the more time they're going to give up here. But as we approach the halfway point, I guess so you're sort of in a position of if you don't get a yellow, you weren't going to catch them anyway.
Yeah, they're way out of drafting range at this point. It's really just a battle for third for these two, unless someone decides to wad it up. And we've seen a lot of cars in the wall, but nothing hard enough to bring out a caution.
Comment coming in from 90210. So what you're saying is NRN condones distracted bike riding. No, we do not, but you can send all your hate mail to bizzle at nationalracingnetwork.com either way.
No, Mick already does a good enough job of flying his drone behind him while he's riding the bike. I can't imagine playing iRacing on the Steam Deck, too.
Oh, man. Jeffrey Stanton giving West Shire the bump draft down the straightaway. That'll make you a little nervous.
Incredibly difficult in these cars because that tail tank is not flat at all. You have one tiny little point you have to stay locked onto. If you shift side to side just a little bit, you're spinning the car in front of you.
Yeah, you got to square them up and know that they're square on the wheel as well. But Pocono is one of those places you can get away with it, though. The straightaways are so long here that if you can get them hooked up, you can really make some headway. It's just a lot of ifs, if you can get that pulled off. That also means we can send love mail there, too. Yes, you can. If you want to give Bizzle a shout-out, you can drop him an email there. He does get those emails, by the way.
That's an actual working email. I check it weekly at this point because just the hate mail, it piles up way too high.
It's usually just piles of expletives, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing, but kind of comical at the same point. I should start my own YouTube channel just reading all the hate mail. Like that thing they do on one of the late night shows.
Yes. 90210 is asking if there's a physical address. I'm not giving that out. We don't need...
No, but if there is enough demand, I will set up a P.O. box.
Can we get P.O. Box like 69420 for you? You think the U.S. Postal Service would give us that?
God, I hope so.
We might have to research that. So you just saw your top two. There's your next two. And then we get back here to the Hornet's Nest, a little bit further back. DL Lemon, Mitch Drevnovsky, Zach Skotnicki, Wes Shire, Mike Barry, Jeffrey Stanton, all the way back through Ben Carswell. Eventually, our race leaders are, I think they're going to catch Josh Batista. He's currently sitting about 27 seconds back, but that's still here at Pocono about half of the racetrack away. How is that percentage of emails are from Watson?
Yeah, about 98.2%, which is 69.1 doubled. By the way. It's not, but ignore my bad math. Send all the hate mail. Yeah, you know the spiel already.
There it is for you, everybody. That's Bizzle with 2 Z's at nationalracingnetwork.com. Bizzle's only 1 Z short of what our viewers are doing here during this show tonight. I tell you what, though, great battle that we have back here. I mean, Drevnovsky has really got up underneath the DL Lemon. Big time corner exit speed off of turn number 1. He's going to try to make the pass through 2. And I have to say, I'm a little bit surprised that Ben Carswell is able to keep up here at the back of this pack. I mean, I know the draft is huge, but that car's got some pretty significant damage on it.
Yeah, I don't know about driving back. I think he's more just hanging out there waiting for the attrition. But frankly, we don't see a lot of attrition in this series, even at the short track. So I don't know what he's hanging on for.
Now, let's take a look here, and we'll bring up the side-by-side box with the battle of our race leaders. James Watson sitting, well, hold on. Drevnovsky, big move into 2. Shire and Skotnicki are going to be right there. They're 2 by 2. Single file back out for the run to turn 3. James Watson sitting about 0.4 of a second back. It sort of feels like on outright pace, Lewandowski has the horses to make this happen. Is there maybe a little bit of tire conservation from Watson? I mean, I know they talk about, hold on. Stephen C. Thompson, that doesn't count. It's a newborn. So many Z's that my baby fell asleep.
Yeah, and the microwave's going to go off and wake the baby up, so...
Congratulations, by the way, to you and your family. I guess a baby's about a week old now.
They grow up so fast.
Yeah, you say that. I just graduated my oldest from college. Thank you, by the way, for the pickup there on Thursday night. I appreciate that one. Oh, buddy, Skotnicki bouncing it off the outside retaining wall. I believe this is the new version of Pocono that does have the safer barrier all the way around. However, right where this camera position is, if you go down from the camera, the kind of the tower that the camera is set up on, they have the original boilerplate wall, the one that Dale Earnhardt knocked a hole through in the 80s. That wall is still there. They just poured concrete in front of it, and then they attach the safer barrier to the concrete. So a whole lot of history out there. Turn 2 is actually the same way. You can still go find the original boilerplate walls that basically just shredded race cars.
I have a picture somewhere on my phone, right behind that wall in turn 1. I took a picture of a can of Old Milwaukee that was like probably from the 1980s that someone left there, and it's, I guess, just been a ritual. If no one touches it, no one cleans it up, because it's still just sitting there right in front of that little power box they got up there in turn 1.
Yeah, 90210 is saying, that sounds like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, it's, you know what? You don't need to do the work. And quite frankly, to get heavy equipment out there, you have to drive it on the racetrack. Oh, buddy. Drevnovsky almost making contact with DL Lemon. That walk to turn number 1, if it has rained at Pocono in the last week, is absolutely miserable.
Oh yeah, it's not a flat path. It's not paved. It doesn't have gravel over it or anything. It's just dirt.
Oh, what a save! Wow, what a save by Drevnovsky! Little bit of contact from DL Lemon. That car was wrecked. He just didn't finish it. It jammed up Jelly tight coming off of 1. Still doing it through 2.
You got me to break.
Oh, wow. Who was that bouncing it off the wall? That may have been Drevnovsky and Wes Shire both bouncing off the outside safer barrier. I'll tell you what, Bizzle, we are very quickly getting down to about 10 laps to go here. It'll be 11 to go next time by. In fact, we'll swap the graphics over so you can see just how many laps are left here in this one. If you don't feel like doing the math. Because we know how good at that Bizzle is.
You give him my calculator, I am fantastic at math, but can't do it in the head.
James Watson making up a little bit of ground here on Thomas Lewandowski as Drevnovsky looking inside at Jeffrey Stanton. At this point, we're just going to keep the camera on Drevnovsky. He has been thoroughly exciting in this one. Drevnovsky might need to pit for new pants. Yeah. That was Pucker Factor Zulu into 1. And I wonder if James Watson wasn't saving some stuff here. Let's bring this little box back up. That gap is down to 0.3 of a second. Call it about 8 car lengths as they get to the start-finish line. And 10 laps to go. Love and Gurrell continuing their fantastic battle. In fact, let's slide up here and pick this one up as they work their way through turn 1. This is the fight for 3rd and 4th, the final step on the podium. Oh, that's tight through 2. Watson has it down to about 1/4 of a second now.
I do have to give props to Batista for staying out here and running. He's 45 seconds back from the leaders, 30 seconds back from the next car. And he's out here just turning laps in something that's frankly driving like a piece of crap.
Yeah, because you're just waiting for something to happen. You're hoping to get some sort of an incident, an accident, pack everybody up, because caution laps here take forever. So you could probably do a fair bit of damage repair. Oh, and there it is. Caution is out. DL Lemon, Mitch Drevnovsky make contact.
We take the camera off them for a lap and a half, and they go and wad everything up.
Let's take a look and see what happened here. Oh, contact with Scott Nicky. Oh, wow. That was a huge hit for Mitch Drevnovsky. Oh, my goodness. Pick up the look at Drevnovsky's car. He had absolutely nowhere to go. And he goes for a wild ride through turn one. Let's take a look here and see if we can't go on board with Mitch Drevnovsky. Let's see. Go on board with Drevnovsky now. Kind of minding business. You hear him on the brakes. Oh. Absolutely nauseating if you're in virtual reality. And there's a look at that machine heading down onto pit lane. And this is exactly what Thomas Lewandowski and James Watson did not want to see. Let's bring up Mr. Watson here into the booth. And James, I'll tell you what, man, the car is really good, but I don't think you wanted to see that caution there. You wanted to have this be a two-man fight.
I'm beyond gutted. Derek's going to win now. I have no front grip. Like, I might have been able to pull off a miracle, but now I'm completely SOL. I am just beyond devastated right now.
Hey,
like, this is
keep your head up, buddy. You should have seen the fight between Love and Gurrell. I think his stuff is pretty roach, too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of battling back there. This is going to be fun.
I don't think so.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck, and hopefully we're talking to you again here in just a couple of minutes.
Hopefully.
There you go. There's James Watson, man. He sounds upset. The AJ Camargo is calling you out in the comments, by the way, Bizzle.
I know. I missed it. I missed it.
Yes. You had your shot.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Captain Drevnovsky speaking. As you can see, we are approaching the turn number 2 catch fence. It is going to catch us very quickly.
Drevnovsky over and under are piloting that one.
Yeah, where's the terrain one?
Terrain. Pull up.
Yeah, you need to do something. So the lights are still on the iRacing safety car. We talked about a little bit ago about the injury to Steph Wilson that occurred today. Let's bring up the focus camera on the number 4 of Brandon Buckberger, currently running in the 5th position. Driven to Save Lives on the side of this machine, and basically a marketing initiative of the Indiana Donor Network, originally created to honor Steph Wilson's brother Justin, who lost his life here at this racetrack back in 2016. After the passing of Brian Clausen about a year later, the Clausen family really getting involved with that initiative as well. But Driven to Save Lives honoring both Justin Wilson and Brian Clausen. There's over 100,000 people waiting for organ and tissue donations. Your choice to do that can absolutely save a life. Upwards of 80 lives now can be affected for the good by your choice to be an organ donor. Visit driven2savelives.org for more information. And if you are an organ donor, you are a hero. And that's one of their big things, and quite frankly, I believe it as well. So thank you very much for all of those folks. And again, you can check out driven2savelives.org. So with 6 laps to go, the lights are out on the iRacing safety car. And Patrick, I think the show that we weren't sure we were going to see, we're going to get a good one now. Watson does not sound real thrilled with his car. Lewandowski, who knows what he has under the hood? We can't even try to talk to him. Derek Love, Kenneth Gurrell were battling big time. Could this be a chance for Brandon Buckberger in 5th, Brent Elmore? Those guys have kind of been able to sit there and just kind of run the race and maybe save a little bit of tire.
Yeah, but behind Derek Love, everyone back there was all in one big pack fighting with each other. Love and Gurrell were fighting pretty hard, but they calmed down a little bit for a good stint of the race. Lewandowski's been running away. Watson's been running like a bat out of hell trying to chase him down. So, frankly, I think it's going to go to one of those cars in 3rd and 4th. I didn't want to tell Watson that's what I think, but I definitely have a feeling it could be that one car or Gurrell winning this race.
Well, the pace car is in. It is a 5-lap shootout. Lewandowski very quickly on the loud pedal. He will be your race leader by 5 car lengths at the start-finish line. Buckberger making the move on Gurrell towards turn number 1. He's going to get that pass completed, and here comes Scott Nicky looking to the inside. If Watson was worried about the start and how much grip everybody was going to have, he's got his answer now. Gurrell has absolutely none. He's falling back through the field.
Yeah, and Derek can't catch him. Watson might still have a shot at this thing.
Yeah, sitting right about 0.3 of a second. There's the look at your race leaders off at turn number 3. It'll be 4 to go this time by. And I don't remember, do these guys have a green-white checkered?
They do. They have 1 attempt at it.
For Watson, this is almost damned if you do and damned if you don't, though. The closer he gets, the closer Derek Love is getting. And quite frankly, the closer Brandon Buckberger is getting as well.
Yeah, it's full send or no send right now. So you really have to just get on it, try and chase Lewandowski down, and pretend Derek Love's not there. Run this car without the mirror like it should be run.
I tell you what, Watson really able to hold the inside through the tunnel turn well. Does it
Not
again
so
through
much
turn 3. A little bit.
Through 3.
Yeah, well,
he entered and stayed a little high through the mid-corner.
3 to go. It's down inside of 0.2. Watson right there. 2 car lengths back to 1.
Yeah, he was looking, but just had to get back in line and maybe wait another lap for it. I think he's going to make that move in turn 1, though. It seems to be where Watson has the big advantage on Lewandowski.
Lewandowski trying his best to break the draft, but it's just not going to work. These cars punch too big of a hole in the air. You almost wonder if you're Watson, do you possibly even drag the brake a little bit in spots or crack the throttle because you want to catch them in the right spot. It's not a matter of just catch them, period. You want to catch them in just the right spot.
Exactly. That's the whole game of racing, where it's chess at 200 miles an hour. Drag the brake here so you can get the run there. Here we go. Watson looking again in turn 1. Maybe a little bit of a defensive move on Derek Love. I wonder if he's playing more defense now than offense.
Well, let's go on board with Watson. Oh, man, is there 3 wide out of turn 1 again, a little bit deeper in the field.
Derek Love going to be side by side going into the tunnel turn.
Love's going to make the pass. Watson trying the crossover. Oh, they almost touched. This is opening up the gap just a little bit to Lewandowski up front, and here comes Buckberger.
Yeah, you saw both Watson and Love having to get on the brakes in the mid-corner. Buckberger's going to be right there, not having to step on the brakes in the mid-corner. He's going to have the run coming down the straightaways. He's going to make it 3 wide in the 1.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go here at Pocono. Watson inside of Love. This is a battle for the championship as well.
They almost touch.
Buckberger giving the shove to Watson.
It's going to really help Watson come through the tunnel turn. He's going to have a little bit of extra momentum, but does he have to check up on exit? No, but he makes contact with Derek Love.
Oh my goodness, what a battle for second.
And it's going to be a drag race across the line. Buckberger wants a piece of it now, too. Watson is clear, though.
Down.
Buckberger's to the inside.
Checkered flag in the end. Lewandowski wins. Watson holds on for second. Love third by 7/1000ths of a second over Brandon Buckberger.
Derek Love really using his head there. He could have pulled out and made it a 3-wide battle for the lead, or for second place, but decided to just push Watson, give Watson the second place, and it gave him just enough to come home in that third position. Really driving with his head there. I got to give a huge congratulations, Derek Love, right there for finishing third.
And I'll tell you what,
disastrous.
Thomas Lewandowski is already out of here. How about this one, Bizzle? 1337 to 1287 was the points battle entering tonight's race. .50 markers is what separated Derek Love from James Watson in the overall championship. Oh my goodness, what a show we got here tonight. Let's take a look at your race results. Lewandowski by half a second over Watson, and then it was tight. Gosh, right about a tenth and a half, separating Watson, Love, and Buckberger for 2, 3, and 4. Jeffrey Stanton comes home 5th, followed by Zach Scott-Nicky, Zach Evans, Wes Shire, Josh Batista, who was practically upside down and on fire at one point in this race, comes home 9th, and Mike Barry finishing in the 10th position. 11 through 16, Brent Elmore, Ben Carswell, Kenneth Garrell, wow, really dropped back. He used his stuff up in a big way, battling with Derek Love earlier in the race. D.L. Lemon, Mitch Drevnovsky going out on that wreck with 8 laps to go, and Laura Gerhardt having her big high flyer incident down the front straightaway, just 11 laps into tonight's race. Oh, let's take a look here and see. Let's bring in, actually, hold on. Let me get the cameras squared up here for our Victory Lane interviews, and then we can bring everybody in to talk to them. Let's see. There we go. Now we got the right cameras up. Let's bring in our race winner tonight, Thomas Lewandowski. And oh my goodness, man, absolutely phenomenal race. I would imagine you were pretty upset when you saw the caution come out with a handful of laps to go. And then just the restart, you were absolutely incredible on. And that really was all the gap you needed, because as soon as the fighting happened behind you, you were good to go.
Yeah, I definitely did not want to see that caution there, but it happens, and I don't like to don't like to get upset about things like that, because it's just racing and you kind of have to plan for it. I just concentrate on that restart and just trying to open up a big enough gap where it opens up Derek trying to make a move on James so they can start fighting it out, because if Derek doesn't think that James can catch me, then they'll start racing, and then that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, how was the car grip-wise? Because we talked to James under the caution. He said he had no front grip. Kenneth Garrell went from 4th to 13th after the restart. So it seemed like everybody was a little bit on edge there coming back to the restart.
I had a lot of grip. I can't really complain. My car wasn't very good in the tunnel turn, but it was a little pushy there. But other than that, I mean, it turned great in 3. I could carry so much speed on the front straightaway, and then it was a little free off of 1, but I just it was manageable with just a little throttle control. So I mean, I can't really complain at all. It drove pretty much perfect the entire race.
Well, we talked about that during the broadcast, that you sort of have to make the big compromises, and it sounded like you were set up so turn 3 was kind of the sweet spot because you had that run down the straightaway, trying to keep up as much of that speed as you possibly could.
Yeah, I always like to set up Pocono for turn 3 pretty much. It's because the straightaway is so long, and you can set up a lot of passes if you need to, into turn 1 that way. The tunnel turn is like my least priority, which is kind of crazy, but the straightaway is so short there, and the difference between like a really good handling car and just an okay one isn't really that much of a difference. So it's better, I think, to set up for turn 3 or turn 1, either or really.
Well, I tell you what, I think whichever way you were going, your setup was fantastic tonight. The car looked good the whole night, and congratulations on picking up a big win here in the Silver Crown Cup. Before we let you go, make sure you do all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous here as well.
I'll just thank you guys for broadcasting these races. You guys do a great job. All my friends over at Drillel, John, Marcus, Larry, they all help me out a bunch, and we've all been racing together for years now. So, but that's it, and just thanks again.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us in the booth here for a moment, and let's bring up the guy who was, well, quite frankly, he was pretty upset when he saw the caution, but things didn't turn out too badly for him here. James Watson coming home second tonight, and talk us through that restart in those last couple of laps, because you and Derek put on an absolute show.
Yeah, it was some kind of hardcore butt clinching right there. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Like the front tires were kind of not great, so I was just holding on as best as I could. And I thought for a small moment I might be able to get up to Thomas, but then Derek was able to get the run, so it just went into defense mode and just holding him off the best I could. And it was had a good bump from Buckberger there at the last couple laps that were able to help me big time.
Yeah, and it seemed like the setup discussion that we just had with Thomas, you may have gone a little bit different direction. He talked about being set up for turn 3 and to pull down the straightaway. Was that the direction you went, or were you trying to make your speed somewhere else?
I was just going for overall consistency, really. The car was actually loose in testing, so I actually kind of tightened it up a little bit, and I may have tightened it up a bit too much. I kind of wish I had some of that looseness. It's a bit of a theme with me. I try to keep the car from getting too loose, and I end up tightening it up a little too much. But not bad for someone who's only been making sets for his second season now, but hopefully I'll get better in that regard. But yeah, it was a heck of a run at a track I'm not usually all that confident in. I'm happy with all that.
Well, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. And before we let you go, make sure you get all the big sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of here too, brother.
Yes, sir. Got to thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. Got to thank Martin Sports Sim Racing Apparel. You, of course, and everyone at NRN. ZAS Designs for putting together my paint schemes. And SimSearch, your #1 online sim racing marketplace.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here. And, man, I'll tell you what, Bizzle, no Derek Love to talk to tonight. At least it doesn't look like we're going to be able to talk to Derek. But, man, just a fantastic show. Sometimes these races at Pocono can be a little bit on the, we'll say, the snoozer side. This was not necessarily one of them.
Yeah, and every time I've been to Pocono in the real world, I've always been told it's going to be a snoozer. It's just going to be a fuel mileage race. Every time, it always puts on a fantastic show. Uh, Sometimes not in the way you expect it, but this is one of the best tracks in the world, I would think.
Yes, I don't know why IndyCar does not run here, quite frankly, but that's sort of neither here nor there. We do have an update on the point standings, and this is tight. Thomas Lewandowski with the win, moving into second place in the points. He leapfrogs James Watson. It is only an 18-point difference separating Derek Love from Thomas Lewandowski. James Watson increased or cut into the deficit that D-Love has. It's only 46 points from first to third as we head off to the season finale next week at Darlington. Oh, buddy, I'm looking forward to this one in a very big way. But with that, it's time for us to get the heck on out of here. Big week of racing coming up here on the National Racing Network. Tomorrow night, it will be the season finale for the TNT Shock Series from Indianapolis Raceway Park. And it's Oval Week for the U.S. Open Wheel Cars. They are heading off to Gateway. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Kick off your greatest racing weekend of the year right here on NRN on Thursday night before you head off to the Carbonite Classic on Friday, the Little 500 on Saturday, and then the greatest spectacle in racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Sunday. Also, the Monaco Grand Prix will run this weekend, and the Coke 600 for NASCAR. It's the triple crown of Memorial Day weekend racing, and it is going to be a fantastic show. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. For Patrick Byrne and everybody else here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.